The Owen James Report is
brought to you by
JMMB.
It's easy at JMMB.
Your best interest at heart.
I believe I can be anything I want to be. I can succeed in this reality with JMMB. Growth and security, the right solutions for me, and all I need to know.
It's easy at JMMB.
For a financial plan you can afford to live with, schedule your free no-obligation goal conversation and discover how the JMMB difference can work for you. Call 998-JMMB or text the word PLAN to 822-JMMB.
It's easy at JMMB.
Your best interest at heart.
Good evening. This is the Owen James Report. The Jamaica Public Service Company Limited will need $500 million to build its proposed 190 megawatt power plant. So how will it fund this venture, one of the largest in Jamaica's history? Well, JPSCO's President Kelly Tomlin tells me the company is looking at a mix of 70% debt and 30% equity, with the 30% coming from current shareholders and the remainder coming from an international source whom Mrs. Tomlin wouldn't name. However, the World Bank's private sector lending window, the International Finance Corporation, appears the best bet. The IFC traditionally lends money to businesses in developing countries to fund projects like this, suggesting that the IFC will be the JPSCO's main source of capital. Oil prices have been volatile this week, and the volatility continued today as prices rallied strongly, with international benchmark Brent on course for its largest two-week gain in over 15 years. Brent gained over $1 today, closing at $58.23 a barrel, a 10% gain week over week. West Texas Intermediate, the American benchmark, closed over $1.50 higher at $52.13 a barrel. Now, several forces are at work here, including a fall in the number of oil rigs as the oil glut continued and companies pared losses. Oil services firm Baker Hughes notes, for example, that the average number of American oil rigs fell by 199 in January. That deliberate move is one driving up prices. On the other hand, some investors are betting on lower oil prices for some time to come, what with America's shale operations and the Saudis' resistance to cut output to stimulate higher prices. On the foreign exchange market, the American dollar held firm at $115.80 Jamaican. However, both the Canadian dollar and the British pound strengthened against the local currency. The Canadian dollar gained 11 cents Jamaican to close at $92.60, whilst sterling strengthened by 76 Jamaican cents to close at $176.53. News on the market now, and key financial stocks as well as Telecom's Lime rallied strongly today, pushing up the stock market indices. The main JC index advanced by almost 1,800 points, one of its biggest single-day gains since the new year. 16 stocks traded, with 9 advancing, 3 declining, and 4 holding firm. Over 3.6 million shares traded, with DNG, JMMB, and Scotia Group dominating trading. Winners included DNG, JMMB, Sagicor Group, Scotia Group, and Scotia Investments. The losers were Grace Kennedy, NCB, and Sagicor's X-Fund. Now finally, in our business intelligence feature, Republican presidential hopeful Jeb Bush told me 8 years ago that growth was the best prescription to cure Jamaica's high debt-to-GDP ratio. Even with the current economic gains, that seems to be the best prescription, not overtaxing businesses and the productive sector. The current growth agenda merits watching from both a public and a private sector perspective. Watch an excerpt from my 8-year-old interview with Jeb Bush within my personal financial program On a Personal Note this Sunday at 3 p.m. on CVM Television. And that's the Owen James Report. Good evening.
The Owen James Report was brought to you by
JMMB.
It's easy at JMMB.
Your best interest at heart.